I want to start with a story that, on the surface, looks like success. Back in 2008, I was like many of you, applications, competitions, summer schools. I talked to the Oxbridge students who had already got in, and trying to gather every piece of information that might help with the interview. People wished me good luck back then, but I remember my guardian saying half-jokingly, "She doesn't need luck anymore." And he was right. I didn't. I completed 10 years of past papers for every subject and made sure that every possible type of problem has been seen and solved. All I needed was one result, a good university, and Cambridge was more than I had ever imagined. So I got in. I thought, that was it. Life goal completed. But the joy only lasted for a few days. I remember walking across the college lawn on a very beautiful day. The air was fresh and people were sunbathing on the grass. Everything looked perfect. But inside, I felt empty and detached. It was a very strange sensation, as if I was watching someone else's story. I had achieved something, that's for sure. But I was not inside it. The result was there, but it had nothing to do with me. Later, at university, I started doing a lot of music. I thought, maybe the problem was to do with the direction. I prefer music to chemical engineering. That was my subject back then. That if I switched to something I truly liked, things would turn out different. So I turned to music. But years later, during an improvisation performance, the same thing happened again. I used many techniques, extended vocal techniques, throat singing, 呼麦. The performance was very successful, but I felt empty inside, again. When people complimented me, I just wanted to hide, feeling completely disconnected with what I had just done. At that moment, I realized that a big change on the outside, for example, for me, it's from chemical engineering to music, did not create any real change inside. So the emptiness felt similar, but it wasn't exactly the same. In Cambridge, I was never there, but in music, I had been there, and somehow I lost it. I struggled with this for some time, didn't know what to do. Until one day, I watched a performance that led to some reflection. An 18-year-old boy on stage, no techniques, no defense. He started his performance by shaking his legs. Gradually, that vibration spread over his whole body, and he's holding 2 wires in his hands. As he moves, these wires kept touching and created sound. The sound was not designed. It came directly from his body, his movement, his emotions. It was a very simple performance, but very powerful. I looked at myself. What I was doing looked more complex and advanced, but far away from something real. This boy presented the kind of connection I'd been looking for. I tried, but it did not always appear. Feelings are constantly changing, and I'm not yet skilled at responding to them. Sometimes the sound came out is clumsy, sometimes fragmented, sometimes overdone, sometimes childish, sometimes repetitive. But there's a big difference from before. It is not empty. The sounds are constantly shifting, swimming, palpitatingly alive. I don't know what will come next. And in that uncertainty, sometimes I become very tense. And in those times, I want to grab something, to be in control. This something can be a technique, a pattern, combinations of certain sounds that had previously worked. As soon as I started doing that, I lose the connection immediately, and the sound closes. Gradually, with practice, I was able to stay more in that uncertainty and even at times enjoy it. But still, many times, I want to control and therefore lose the flow. So I kept asking myself, how can I stay with the flow more often? And how to let go of control? Lately, I moved to live in the countryside, and I saw something that is very concrete. I began observing the farmers. The farmers, they are constantly responding to the weather, the temperature, the state of the plant, etc. They are improvising with the situation, the environment, instead of controlling the outcome. So and so happens, and they do so and so. And the plant grows, or they die, and the plant dies, and they grow again. They observe, act, and wait. They are totally relaxed. I also started planting things myself. For me, waiting is not easy. I kept checking, has it sprouted? Are there any new leaves? Are they taller than yesterday? Is it going to bear any fruit? Too many questions and concerns. Deep down, I don't trust that if I planted something, it would live. When I saw that my tomato seedlings had survived, I was pleasantly surprised. I did not trust if I let go, things would work. Just like during the improvisation, I did not think the sound would work, the sound would stand if I let go. Planting those tomatoes gave me this trust and also the confidence. Whether I could control or not, they will grow anyhow. So through this, I began to understand that the sense of certainty does not come from control. It comes from how much you can stay in the uncertainty. To trust the process and continue day after day without needing immediate results, without needing to prove anything, just continuing, cultivating. It is exactly like improvisation. Also, I understand change differently. I used to think change meant a better school, a better university, a better job, switching direction, trying something new. But many of those changes are just outside movements. They do not result in the change inside. Real change is not about where you go. It is about whether you can stay. Stay in uncertainty. Stay with what is real for long enough for something to grow. Thank you.